Good morning, students. This is Mrs. Klein from the library, and I wanted to talk to you today about plagiarism. What is plagiarism, and how can you prevent it? So let's say that you just got an assignment from your teacher, and he has told you that you have to do a book report, and he says plagiarism will not be tolerated. Well, let's figure out what plagiarism is and how we can make sure to prevent it in all of our assignments that we do. Let's start with, what is plagiarism? According to the Longman Dictionary of Contemporary English, plagiarism is when someone uses another person's words, ideas, or works and pretends that they are their own. Another idea for plagiarism is an idea, phrase, or story that has been copied from another person's work without stating where it came from. So that would be if you took somebody's work and you did not give credit to them by citing their work for them. So what's the big deal, you might ask? Well, plagiarism is stealing, and you can actually get in a lot of trouble for it. Some of the consequences could include having to redo the assignment all over again. You might even receive a failing grade, and if you're in high school, can be suspended. If you're in college, you can be expelled, which means you're kicked out. When you get a job and you plagiarize, you might actually lose that job. And above all, no matter what, people might not trust you anymore, and you might have a loss of your reputation. So you might get a reputation of somebody that is a cheater. Let's talk about some examples of plagiarism so we know what we're working with. Some examples might include using a friend's book report from last year, copying word for word from a source, so a book, article, or website, without giving the proper credit to that author. If you're only changing a few words in a sentence and still not giving credit to that author, that is considered plagiarism. Another example could include not using quotation marks for direct quotes. So if you're taking the author's words word for word and you don't put direct quotes, that's wrong. Another example of plagiarism could be paying someone to do the work for you. That's not good either. So let's talk about how you can prevent plagiarism. One way that you can prevent plagiarism is by using quotation marks. When you're using the author's exact words, use quotation marks around that quote. So for example, in this sentence, the author, Ralph Waldo Emerson, once wrote, "The only way to have a friend is to be one." I put quotation marks around the exact words that he wrote. The only way to have a friend is to be one. Those are not my words. Those are Ralph Waldo Emerson's words. So I need to make sure that I give him credit by putting quotation marks around his words. So when your teacher is talking to you and he says, "Did you use quotation marks?" That's what he's talking about. Another way that you can prevent plagiarism is by paraphrasing. So if you want to use the author's idea, you can do so, but you must write it in your own words. Paraphrasing uses the important information, but expressed in a new and unique way. So let's take an example. Let's look at the sentence, "He has tons of stuff to throw away." If you're trying to take that information, we need to put it in our own words. So instead of saying, "He has tons of stuff to throw away," you could paraphrase it by writing, "He needs to get rid of a lot of junk." That is one way that you can make sure you prevent plagiarism. When you write the idea in your own words, that is helping you make sure that you are creating your own ideas. Another way that you can prevent plagiarism is by citing your sources. No matter what, you must always cite your sources. By citing your sources, you're giving credit to the original creator of the information. Whether you are using direct quotes, paraphrasing, or summarizing your information, remember, cite, cite, cite. And you're always going to hear Mrs. Klein tell you, "Did you cite your sources?" All that means is, did you give credit to the original author? Where did you get that information is what we want to know. If you can tell us where you got that information, that is another way to help prevent plagiarism. Now you might be asking yourself, what is citations? What is the source that you're talking about? The way that you can cite your sources, it kind of depends on each teacher that you have. So no matter what, you must always include these main details in your citations. You need to make sure you include the author, the date or the year that the information was written, the title of the book or the article, the website, wherever you got that information, you need to include the title. And lastly, you need to make sure that you include the publisher or the URL. Now, you guys might be using the URL a lot more than a publisher if you are getting information from a website. So again, remember, no matter what, always cite your sources. It is okay to use other people's information in your work, but you need to make sure that you're giving credit to what they have done. If you don't give credit to somebody else's work, that is considered plagiarism. So always ask yourself, where did you find that information? Did you include that in your work? That is one great way to make sure that you are not plagiarizing somebody else's work. You're not taking credit for what they have already done. If you need more information on plagiarism, you can always come into the library and ask Mrs. Klein. If I'm not there, look at the websites that I have included on our video, and those would be great, fast information getters for you guys. So please remember, always cite your sources. Make sure you're giving credit to the person that actually came up with those sites, or with that information, I'm sorry. Now, if you can see on the video, I actually gave credit to all of the images and all of the clip art that I used in this video. Mrs. Klein is not very artistic or crafty, so I want to make sure that I give credit to the person that drew all of those images. I did that by including their website where I got it and the name of the store that I bought it from. Okay? So boys and girls, please come visit us in the library if you ever have any questions or concerns. Mrs. Klein could be a great person for you to come to, as well as your teacher. Don't forget, they have lots of knowledge too. So thank you very much, and I hope you have a great day. Hope to see